The main mode of Tuna is called fuzzy mode. This is where you find stuff, run stuff, handle stuff, and as with everything in Tuna, it all compiles down to the same command structure. But fuzzy mode is perhaps the mode where it shows most clearly. If you need a general introduction to Tuna, my new macOS launcher, cmd+space launcher app, watch this other video. But this video will be an introduction to fuzzy mode specifically, and maybe show a few tricks that might be handy. So you launch fuzzy mode with a globally bound hotkey, like command space, for example, like a true OG. That's mine. So command space, and it opens like this. You type and you find an app. The search is fuzzy, and it searches Tuna's internal index. So it's not specifically finding files, it's finding something else. We'll get back to it. But typing SAF is going to find Safari, but it's fuzzy, so SFI is going to hit Safari as well. Gumma is going to hit Figma, for example. Other than that, it's also it remembers what you type. So if I type pics, for example, it's going to find pictures. And because I've typed pics and picked pictures before, it's a tongue twister. It remembers how I've found it that way, and it's going to find it the same way again next time. So docs, for example, is also it remembers that I've referenced it by docs. And mostly you'll use this to find apps and run them. You can also find files, so as we've seen, docs or pictures, but also you can also add like custom folders. For example, I have my general like projects folder, which is called dev, added to the index as well, and I can find files, folders and files inside of those custom folders as well. So for example, we can find the Tuna development folder and the work trace folder. What's special about folders as well is we can navigate into them. So hitting the right arrow on a folder will navigate into it, and we can browse the contents like we would in Finder or wherever. For example, in pictures, I have a wallpapers folder, and inside of that I have all these beautiful wallpapers. But as you see, you can sort of dig into things to find more specific things. And this is all built to be super fast, super easy. All of it remembers how you found it before. All of it maps to the same command structure. And browsing like this works for folders, but it also actually works for apps as well. So if I find an app that uses the built-in macOS APIs, I can hit right arrow on it as well, and it'll browse its recently opened documents. So this works for anything that uses local files, like Sketch in this example, or Preview. Right arrow navigates in, and as soon as we're in there, we are just referencing the files directly, so we can do all the things that we would for any other file. What's also funny is that some extensions can extend the index, sort of, to allow browsing in special ways for special apps. So if you install the Safari extension and you browse Safari, we get this categorized overview of navigating into Safari, links and favorites and everything. It has history too, if you want that. Works for GitHub as well, so we can find like notifications. Oh, inbox 0. But if you weren't so on top of things as I am, there would be stuff in here as well. Works for Safari, preview, built-in apps with recent documents, Safari, and other things for like document-based, URL-based, but also works, for example, with the CleanShot extension, where all of these are sort of commands instead of files, I guess. And this is all by like navigating in with arrows into CleanShot. Some things are just like catalogs on their own. So for example, emoji, we can hit right arrow as well, or we can just hit enter. And these catalogs can have custom views. The emojis are nice with like a great example. And these are sorted by recency. So if I use an emoji, it'll go to the top here. But I can also assign aliases here as well, and mnemonics. I mean, like remembering, it's gonna learn what you call emoji, and the next time you search, it's gonna find them again by the same phrases. So anything sort of tries to work the same way, however you get to it. We have a clipboard history as well, which you can browse, or by right arrow, or by hitting enter on it. And for all of these that we've found so far, we've run the default actions or browsed into them. But if we hit a tab on this, you can see how the focus switches to the other pane here. But of course, there's plenty of things we can do with either of these things that we found. So for an app, for example, we can open it or we can toggle it. So I already have my Ghosty open and running, for example. And if I toggle it, it's going to toggle on. If I toggle it again, it's going to toggle off. Toggle off. Yes. So that's what we can do for apps. We can also like uninstall, or perhaps that doesn't work for Safari, but if we find something else, what do I know? Acorn, for example. I'm not going to uninstall it. It's great, but there's an uninstall action in there. That's for apps. For files, for example, these GIFs here, we can of course do the common stuff like copy, move, and the same thing goes if I the reason that CP always resolves to copy to for me is that I've run copy to before and referenced it by CP, so it's going to remember that. And of course the same mnemonics work as well in the target pane, which is the third one here. So I can reference documents by docs again, or pics, or whatever I want. It's a funny guy. For a folder, for example, we have stuff like new text file or new folder or anything that you would actually expect. I think it's probably covered. And like I said, these are all in the main index of Tuna. It's not really specifically for finding files because the index is supposed to be fast and is supposed to support fuzzy finding. So of course, like add a folder with too many files or directories, like add one node modules in there and it's gonna break. So instead, if what you want is to find files, you can of course do that, but we rely on Spotlight instead then. So for example, in my projects folder here, I can run the Spotlight search for and say find all my node modules. That's of kind folder, and it's gonna resolve inline here. And these are folders. Now again, like anything in Tuna, we can navigate into them, out of them, so on. We also have a concept of smart folders. So if this is something that I do a lot, I can save it as a smart folder, which is basically a saved Spotlight query. But of course, arrowing into them works as well here, and it's going to find all the node modules folders inside my projects folder. I don't know why you would ever want to do that, but you can. Now, another handy trick here is that you can stage multiple files. So say, for example, I have a collection of GIFs that I want to share with someone. All of my Steve Brule GIFs, when one is focused, I can hit comma and it's gonna stage. You see how it adds a check mark here and says one item. And if I hit comma on more things, it's gonna create a little pile here with however many items you want. It can be files. It can be a combination of files and folders. It can be, really anything you want. And you can do stuff on that pile as well. So for example, if I want these 4 GIFs copied to somewhere, I can do so. If I want to compress them, for example, I can make a handy little archive. And then if I want to email this to someone, I can email directly to contacts. And contacts you can navigate into as well. So this is David's email, and if I run this, it's going to open up Mail app with with a new email with this thing attached, and you can get to writing pretty quickly. So you see how they sort of both all compile down to this command structure of like subject and the action and the target, and both can like be the combinations are you can combine them in any way that you want. for whatever specific task you want. And also you can like chain them. So picking the files, finding the GIFs, picking the ones that you want, compressing them, resolves into the archive, sending that to the contact. All of it sort of fits into this chain of commands where they all are just like nuggets of this command structure of subject, action, and target. Someone told me that the correct grammatical term is object, but that's sort of a loaded term in programming too, but you'll surely understand it. And yeah, that's fuzzy mode for you. Another important thing about this is that anything you can do here compiles down to this command structure. I've said it a few times, but it's important because that means that all of these you can define custom hotkeys for. So for example, if I hit this combination, I go directly to browsing my clipboard history. This one toggles the emoji picker. I have a hyper G for the current selection. So say I have plain text open and some text in here. And I mark this and hit command hyper G. It's gonna spawn Tuna with that selection. This works for Finder as well. So if I have my wallpapers open here and select the thing, or select maybe a whole bunch of things, and I hit hyper G, it's gonna spawn Tuna with a pile already ready with these files that I selected in Finder. So that's like, I find that most of the time, if I want to do something like move files or whatever, it's much faster to just do it in Tuna. So select the files, hit my hotkey to spawn Tuna with those files selected. I tap MV, tab, docs, navigate in, pics, navigate in, wallpapers, they're already there. I don't know. Another fun one here is from the new effects catalog is like confetti, the world's most subtle confetti cannon, which I've mapped to a hyper W, and we get a little tiny celebration. And we have a whole set of effects added recently for more festive look occasions, like the confetti rain or the this is fine for, yeah, you probably know when this would be appropriate. Anyway, that's a brief tour of fuzzy mode. I'll come back at some point with some introductions to more stuff in Tuna. Tuna is free to download and use, and there's a pro version as well. You can pay for it now. A bunch of people have already, and I'm very happy that you have. We have a Discord too. You should join it. There's bug reports, there's memes and fun, there's like sharing config. It's great. If you have any tips yourself for like smart workflows in fuzzy mode specifically, or in Tuna in general, be sure to share them in the comments. And I'm very looking forward to hearing whatever crazy stuff you cook up in Tuna. Yeah. See ya.